did Alexander the Great of ancient Greek worship? We know that he lived about 330 BC. We were also given a prophecy by Archangel Gabriel to the prophet Daniel concerning Alexander the Great. And as he was going through the area of the Holy Land, he did go to the Temple of Solomon in Jerusalem, Israel, and he was told about the prophecy given by Archangel Gabriel to the prophet Daniel. He also went to Egypt, and that's where the high priest of Egypt told him that yes, he was the son of a pharaoh, so he was a pharaoh. But who did Alexander the Great worship? Did he worship a rabbi of a Jewish priest? It said that after his acceptance as the son of Zeus in Egypt, then at some point during his campaign, he converted and worshipped non-religious priests and consequently their god, Jehovah. Let's see how things went. In his last victories, Alexander conquered various countries. He crossed the river Hydrotis, attacked the Cathians, the Oxydracs, and the Mauls, occupied the city of Sangala, and reached the Ephasis River. Then he planned new campaigns, but he was exhausted morally. He was exhausted and had morally and exhausted, depressed men for the first time who refused to follow him. Kindly support my Patreon account since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. Alexander was forced to give in to their desires. Before giving the order to return, according to the others, he raised there at the end of his campaigns on the river Ephasis 12 altars 22 meters high. 12. Deciding therefore to set the limits of his campaign there, he first built altars to the 12 gods 50 cubits high, then tripled the enclosure of the existing camp and dug a ditch 40 feet wide and 50 wide, while with the soil he dug from the moat built a remarkable wall. He also ordered pedestrians to build accommodations with 2 beds 5 feet long each, and the riders, in addition to these, 2 mangers, additionally double the usual ones. And according to them, he ordered them to build everything that was to stay there in large size. Quote, he did all this because he wanted to build a camp for heroes and at the same time leave to the locals the marks of big men, which indicate supernatural physical forces, end quote. Dedicated to the Olympian gods with the following inscription, quote, to my father Amonas, to my brother Hercules, to Athens, to Athena Promachon, to Olympian Zeus, to Kiveres of Samothraki, and to Elon of Ion. In the center and in front of the altar of Hercules, a bronze column was erected with the inscription, Alexander was here. Since then, Alexander did not return to Judea, so as much as some may want, he had not been given the opportunity to convert to the Hebrew faith. And as it turns out then, not only did Alexander not worship Jehovah, but he completely ignored him. The myth of worship is based on the book of the life of Alexander the Great, written by Callisthenes, who was the son of Demotimus from Olynthus of northern Greece, and a student and nephew of Aristotle. Aristotle, as we know, was Alexander the Great's teacher. He followed his uncle to Pella. Then, when the latter was called in 334 BC to teach Alexander, he later followed Alexander in his campaign against the Persians as a historian to glorify the war achievements of Alexander the Macedonian king. He did not hesitate at all to turn against Alexander himself and accuse him of introducing worship on his face towards him. For this attitude, he was accused of conspiracy and was horribly killed in 327 BC. He wrote one of the most important works called Ellinika, meaning Greek, consisting of 10 books and the unfinished due to his health Alexander's Acts, the Acts of Alexander the Great. A few experts from both survive. Callisthenes was also credited at a later time with a popular novel about the life and deeds of Alexander the Great, many of whose authors were covered under the name of the real Callisthenes to reach our days as Pseudo-Callisthenes. This work is a creation of fictional stories about Alexander the Great, developed in the time of his successors and based on the books of the work of Callisthenes. The first recorded dates to 383 AD, the 3rd century AD, while already from 340 AD, was translated into Latin. It survived in 3 variants known by the Latin letters A, B, and C, dating to the 11th, 15th, and 16th centuries respectively. So as you can see, this is a slanderous tale. Moreover, the ancient Greeks did not worship anyone. This is translated for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support.